Hello, class. It is Professor Julie Goddard coming at you pre-recorded from the Goddard Nugent Test Kitchen. Today, we're going to make fermented vegetables. I want to show you a couple key ingredients that are really important in helping the transformation of this into this by encouraging the good bacteria, the lactic acid bacteria, to grow. But what we don't want is for it to turn into this, which is, rotten compost, basically. So how do you do that? How do you make sure, because both bugs are on the surface of these vegetables, right? So we want to promote the growth of the lactic acid bacteria and inhibit the growth of spoilage microorganisms, bacteria, yeast, and fungi. And so a couple things we're going to do to help that process out. One is we're going to be using kosher salt, so that's non-iodized salt. Iodized salt it's like the poster child for interventions to prevent micronutrient deficiency. But iodine is an antimicrobial, and we don't want that in this case. The other thing that we're going to use, and this has both a technical and kind of a sensorical use, caraway. So caraway seeds are fantastic in pickled vegetables and sauerkraut, just for the flavor. But it turns out that there's part of the flavor compound in caraway called carvone is a terpenoid. So that's a phenolic type of a compound that has known antimicrobial, supposed anti-inflammatory, and maybe some antioxidant activity. So in this case, the particular microorganisms that carvone inhibits are some of the spoilage microorganisms. So this is going to be on our side as well. Fun side fact, terpenoids, that class of chemicals that is kind of the main smell part of caraway, that's also the class of chemicals that the main smell components in like lemon and eucalyptus essential oils are. So that's kind of interesting too. So other things that we're going to be using here is a big vat, nice clean big container. You'll see that we've got a decent volume of vegetables, but once it gets salted and expresses some of the liquid and releases some of its air, it actually does condense quite a bit. So we'll show you how that works. The last thing I'm going to do, because I really want this to turn into delicious sauerkraut and not a big pile of rotting bleh on my counter, is my secret ingredient here. So this is yogurt, which I'm going to strain and get a little bit of the whey out. So the whey isn't going to have all the caseins and those proteins that are what makes yogurt white, but it is going to have a decent dose of lactic acid bacteria, the same kind of bacteria that we use to ferment yogurt is the same what we're using to ferment vegetables. So let's get started. All right, now let's get to chopping. Like I mentioned, I have some yogurt straining. It really doesn't take very much in terms of volume of whey to add enough of a kickstarter of the good lactic acid bacteria that we want for our fermentation, just to really ensure that we're going to have a good fermentation. The other thing you can actually do is if you've got some liquid left over from a prior fermentation, you can just feed that into your system. Now, I think this could take some time. What say we speed it up?